Hello and welcome to The Print. Today we have a very special guest with us, Karnataka's Minister for Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, as well as Information Technology and Biotechnology. As you know, Bangalore is considered India's IT capital, but also Bangalore has multiple problems that are associated with infrastructure. So we have with us Mr. Priyank Kharge, who's going to speak more on his departments as well as the general political situation in Karnataka. Welcome to The Print, Mr. Kharge.
Thank you so much.
First of all, congratulations on the resounding victory. What went right for the party this time first?
I think a lot of things went right for the Congress in Karnataka. People were fed up with the rampant corruption, the narratives that led to the heavy polarization. People were upset with the high rate of unemployment. And all this factored with the state's poor show economically was, I think, what propelled us. And of course, the 5 guarantees that we gave, the unity that we showed, and more importantly, we had a plan on how to go with the elections and what to do. How do we address regional disparities? How do we address the aspirations of the Kannadigas? And also, I think the BJP was a divided house. They were leaderless and their ship was rudderless with no direction. So I think there was a lot of factors that came into play. And the people of Karnataka really wanted a change, and they wanted to be known as a prosperous state rather than the saffron paint that they wanted, the BJP wanted to paint us in. So yes, it was a great resounding victory, and we are grateful to the people of Karnataka, and they have given us the mandate to govern them better and put Karnataka back on the path of progress.
How do you get the state back on track? What are your first measures to put it back?
Well, I think the administration requires a complete overhaul. It's become a little rusty. I think the BJP did an extremely bad job of trying to govern the state. And the first thing that we did when we came back to power was the CM and the DCM took charge of the administration and called all the officers and told them there are expectations that we are here to govern, we are here to administer. We do not want officers playing politics. They're here to do a job, and we want to put Karnataka back on the economic growth trajectory. And if you're going to cooperate, it's great. Otherwise, we will have to deal with you firmly. So I think that message has gone loud and clear. It's been a month, and you can see there has been a sea change of work ethics in the work ethics of the officers, and we'll continue to improvise and govern better.
The government's all settled in, all ministers, everyone happy, all dissent, everything settled?
No, it's all a work in progress. It's been a month and a half since we have come. We have just come out, and we have just come back on the saddle. We have put in a great budget which is going to cater to the aspirations of the people. We have promised we are delivering on the 5 guarantees that we had promised during the elections. We are trying to put the manifesto promises in a framework. Yeah, it's a work in progress, but I'm sure that in a couple of months everything will be as desired by the people of Karnataka.
So you hold 2 very key ministries. One is the Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, and the other is IT. So very contrasting departments, and the opposition too raised some furor about how does one person with 2 contrasting departments manage.
So, I mean, should the Congress ask BJP and decide the portfolios? Yes, of course, I agree that there are 2 ends of the pole, but that doesn't mean there is no convergence. If you actually look at the functioning of the rural development department, everything is online. Most of it is online. All the dashboards are online. Your Manrega payments get done online. Policies and your monitoring. We have probably the most advanced monitoring system called the Panchatantra. And after I've come, we are trying to put in new systems of getting in more transparency, accountability, and efficiency into the working of the entire department and all the schemes that come. It's a sea. It's a huge. The department is really huge. So if we are going to get it in the right processes, get in the right mechanisms, I'm sure we'll be able to develop higher efficiency at the grassroots level. So using technology to ensure better delivery of systems at the grassroots levels will only strengthen this system. So BJP might say what they want, but we are trying to converge converge and use technology to deliver better at the panchayat level, at the village level.
Also, IT, one of the most, I mean, there's always focus on Bangalore and IT, and you've been somebody who's been part of the startup system even before you entered politics. So, I mean, is it fair when you compare Bangalore to other places? Does Bangalore have the same kind of infrastructure that it can be compared to, let's say, more advanced startup hubs like San Francisco or London or anything?
Well, we are the fourth largest technology cluster in the world, and we rank in the top 20 of among the innovation ecosystems in the world. Having said that, a lot of people I get a lot of questions like these when we have these open houses about the infrastructure. One thing we have to realize is that a city is always a work in progress. Any city, whether it's London, New York, Melbourne, Paris, anything. You think there are no traffic jams in London? If you take your car to the central business district, you have to pay a congestion tax. And cities are always playing catch up to policies, to the ever-growing, fast-changing environment and ecosystems of the technology vertical. So, having said that, I'm not saying that Bangalore does not need infrastructure. It does need, and that is exactly what we intend to do. That's why we have the Deputy Chief Minister in charge of Bangalore City, who's bringing in all possible changes to ensure that work gets done more quickly. He's putting in systems, he's putting in place. He's called out he's reached out to industry experts, he's reached out to environmentalists, he's reached out to vertical experts to create an ecosystem for Brand Bengaluru. So that includes your urban mobility, transport, your sanitation, your civic amenities, your infrastructure that is needed to become a global city. He's reached out to common people. He's reached out to the citizens of Bengaluru to give him advice on what to do. Faster last mile connectivity through metros, better network of UGDs, better infrastructure for periphery of Bengaluru. All that is already on his. He's already put that on his agenda and is tackling that. So yes, it's much needed, and to preserve and conserve the brand Bengaluru, and we will do that efficiently.
Yeah, because when you bring up Brand Bengaluru, I remember I think your previous stint as tourism minister, you started I Love Bangalore on the lines of I Love New York, and as a brand, has it taken a big hit in the recent few years?
That's because I think one, we have to. It should become a culture. So we were the first city in India to have an official logo, to brand a city, and it is just not branding. It's the economics behind the branding. So, and it's not just creating a logo. You need to, if you want to become a global city, you have to also start behaving like a global city. It becomes your culture. So, when I was in the tourism department, we evolved that brand and tried to bring that economics in place. Like you said, see, I Love New York. They have these, cluster destinations within the city. They have these cultural walks, the heritage walk, the museum walk, the cuisine walks. They have all these things over there, and that's something that we replicated here also to a certain amount of success. But then the successive governments also should pick it up. You cannot say that, okay, the previous government did it, so I'm going to discontinue it. If it is good, you need to simplify and strengthen certain things. If it is bad, let it go. So the concept of Brand Bengaluru, trying to do something that they do it in London or Paris or New York, can be done here. We have great heritage, we have great cuisines, we have great culture, we have great rich history of music. We are a cosmopolitan city. We are no less than any other global city. But we just need to fine-tune ourselves, bring the entire ecosystem to work together around it. Only when everybody adopts it, it becomes a brand. Like, we are the fastest growing airport in Asia. So we get hundreds of million people every year. Now just imagine that if I make each one of at least a 10%, let's assume just for the calculation's sake, 100 million people come in through the airport, a port of entry for the city, every year. Let's say I make 10 million people spend that extra $100. So it's a huge cash cow for the BBMP, for the city to do their infrastructure. So they're adding revenues to make us the brand Bengaluru, the infrastructure that you were speaking about. But we need to plan around it. We need to create a system, a working system around it. So that's something, again, like I said, it's a constant work in progress. So I've requested the Deputy Chief Minister for time to bring this idea out.
Because this is one side, where there's the part that you're trying to highlight, the social, the cultural aspects of but then the infrastructure always kind of nags, bad roads, then there's flooding, then, you have multiple problems associated with Bangalore. This is the travesty of it.
The previous governments neglected this quite badly. And if you actually, I'm not playing politics here. Like I said, every growing city has this problem of infrastructure. And we are growing faster than our policies can play catch up. We are growing faster than our revenues are being mopped up. The brand Bengaluru that people expect needs to be enhanced. So we need, like I was saying, the previous governments neglected Bangalore. They were interested in other narratives that harm investments to Bangalore, infrastructure to Bangalore. If you recollect, when the previous government floated certain narratives, which they thought was great for our state, the IT Minister of Andhra Pradesh tweets saying that all the startups and all investors can come to Hyderabad because we have a better social infrastructure. What does one mean by social infrastructure? It's a government's responsibility, right? Physical as well as social. Bangalore is known for that social infrastructure as well, besides the physical infrastructure. What did the then Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu quote? He said, or any investor who wants to come to Tamil Nadu will be given a red carpet. So what does that mean? That means that you are neglecting the brand Bengaluru. You are neglecting the Karnataka story. Why do people come to, do you know anybody who goes to UP looking for a job? Do you know anybody who goes to Madhya Pradesh for looking for a job? I can show you 100 people from North India, thousands of people from North India coming to Karnataka looking for jobs. Why? Because we have created that ecosystem, the great social ecosystem, a great infrastructure ecosystem, an ecosystem that will provide jobs, an ecosystem that will provide livelihoods, an ecosystem that will be conducive for investments. We have lost that in the last 4 years. And we hope to regain that back as soon as possible.
Because you say there's a lot of migrants coming into Karnataka, there's jobs, there's prosperity, that what they see hope here for whatever reason. So how do you accommodate all of these people now? Because Bangalore is already I'm guessing to its limits.
Yeah, so that's why we are having these, we included a lot of, in our previous government, we included a lot of villages that were outside the corporation limits, within the corporation limits. Now we are also mulling. We have formed a committee to see whether Bangalore can be bifurcated into 3 corporations for better administration and for better infrastructure development. And we are also evaluating if we can see to treat clusters, the industry clusters and the tech park clusters, which provide high taxes, provide high employment and high livelihood zones, where to as a brownfield, instead of creating newer IT parks, newer industry zones, what is it that we can do to ensure that the current ones are not clogged up with without civic amenities? So we are trying some out of the box ideas. We are hopeful that it will be practical enough to do so.
So, like you're saying, there are finance ministers and IT ministers of other states kind of inviting companies and investments over. In your recent tweet also, you had said that Tamil Nadu had become an electronics hub and exported X amount from this country, and Karnataka had lost out. So, how did Karnataka lose out, and how do you propose?
So, if you read that report, it says that in the last 4 years, Tamil Nadu has exported accessories, electronic accessories worth 20,000 crores, and they intend to double it in the next couple of years. And all this they have done in the last 4 years. Where was Karnataka in the last 4 years? We were doing halal cut, jhatka cut, hijab, azan. That was what the government was interested in. They were not interested in trying to create a conducive ecosystem for investment. And why I say we lost out is because Apple's assembly unit started first in Karnataka, in Bengaluru. The whole of India wanted it. Gujarat wanted it. Telangana wanted it. AP wanted it. TN wanted it. Uttar Pradesh wanted it. Everybody fiercely fought for that assembly unit. But who got it? Karnataka got it. And did the successive governments capitalize on it? No. And that hurts me, that pains me. You become the pioneers, you take the lead, and you get the ecosystem here, and you lose it. Irrespective of government, even if BJP had got it and we did not capitalize, I would have blamed. But such a prestigious project comes in, they talk about Make in India. How do you become a product nation or a manufacturing nation when you are not even keen to build on an ecosystem that already exists? So I'm talking purely numbers here. How did we lose out? What happened to us in the last 3 years, 4 years? What is it that Tamil Nadu did better than us? We are the IT capital. We are the manufacturing. We have better manufacturing, except for automobile manufacturing. The rest of the manufacturing is a great ecosystem here. So my only question was, what happened in the last 3.5 years? Why did we lose out? And now we are putting ourselves back in the top spot by getting in better policies, getting in better administration. And I'm sure that in a couple of years we'll regain that spot.
So even now, what are the biggest concerns for investors coming into Karnataka?
Right now, there is, as far as I have interacted in the last month and a half, people are happy with us. They want to come back. We are giving them a better environment, a better sense of governance, more stability, better and quicker decision making. Any policy tweaks that they might want, we are open to that. We are listening to them, most importantly.
See, because you're the MLA from Chittapur and Kalburgi, in the Kalyana Karnataka region. You've also been very vocal about regional imbalance or growing regional imbalance in Karnataka. So investors coming into Karnataka, identify only Bangalore with Karnataka. There's not much that goes out. How do you propose?
See, it's not that the government does not have a policy for investment beyond Bengaluru. In fact, within the electronics policy itself and industry policy itself, there are heavier incentives, better subsidies if you invest outside. And also we recently passed the large and mega and ultra projects framework in the cabinet, So the more employment you create, the more subsidies and incentives you'll be given. And it is not that we have not tried with our industries or with our IT companies to go beyond Bengaluru. We keep asking them, we keep prodding them, we keep giving them incentives. Now it slowly started. So if you remember, it was during our tenure that Belgavi became a sort of a aerospace hub. Mangaluru is good with animation. We have a cluster in Koppal which is for toys. We also have a huge steel plants in this thing because of the natural resources in Bellary. The limestone deposit helps the cement factories in Kalyan, Karnataka. But having said that, if you saw recent budgets, paras also, our heavy focus is on taking smaller industries, MSMEs, SMEs outside. So including my own constituency. So we need to be a little more strategic. We need to be a little more vertical specific. So it's just not that I cannot go and tell that come to the rural areas and invest. I need to be very specific how I intend to give them incentives. What will the subsidies help them in? What about the human resource? What about the infrastructure that will be connecting to these to the cosmopolitans or metropolitans of other states? So all this has been devised already. So before, when people would want to come to Kalaburgi, they would say like, if you had an airport, it would be great. Now we have an airport, we have great NH connectivity, SH connectivity, we have great rail connectivity, which will ensure that your goods reach either Visakhapatnam port or the Mumbai port as easily as it was. If you want to come to Bangalore also, it is good enough now. So we have created that infrastructure over time. Now it's time to push investments there. And that's a commitment of the government, and we'll do that.
There's another concern for startups, and there's always this traditional versus disruptive technologies. We've seen that happen with the mobility space, where two-wheeler taxis are not being allowed. Then you have multiple of these clashes, e-commerce, and now with the GST on gaming and everything. So how do you manage all of this?
Had this Karnataka Innovation Authority, I had come up with that. So not just infrastructures, even policies don't catch up to the fast-changing technology or the industry verticals that are prevalent. So, like you said, bike taxis, there is a ban. Uber runs illegally. There is no concept of car sharing or carpooling in the Transport Act. If you go by the Telegraph Act, you are not even allowed to put a OFC anywhere. So our policies also are playing catch up to technology, right? So that's why we have created this Karnataka Innovation Authority, so that any ambiguity in law or any ambiguity in a policy with respect to technology can come and rest here till a policy is framed. So that we allow them to do their business within a legal framework, but not shut them down because we don't have a policy for it, or we don't ban them there, as long as it's a legal business. Coming to the gaming part that you asked about, the 28%, I think the central government is walking on thin ice, and or they have not understood the industry well enough. So there is a game of skill and there's a game of chance. I'm against betting of any kind on any platform. Having said that, you can't kill the entire gaming industry itself. Wherever there is betting going on, wherever there is a skill of chance versus skill, game of chance versus game of skill, you need to differentiate that. Yes, it's going to be a longer process, it's going to be a delayed process, but I think that's the only way out. You just can't have a blanket ban on everything.
Because Karnataka did have a blanket ban on it.
That's because the previous government got in the same online gaming policy of another government, verbatim, which had already got a stay in High Court in that state government's thing. They just changed that state's name and put Karnataka everywhere. There was already a ban on that thing. So there was no application of mind. So it looked like they just wanted to benefit certain people. So that act was done. They got a stay as predicted. I had predicted this earlier. As the day they got the bill only, I said this will go for litigation. They'll get a stay, and you're not going to ban online betting. There's a difference, online gaming and online betting. So we'll have a relook at that, and we'll see. We will talk to the stakeholders. See, it's very important to talk to stakeholders and come out with a policy. That did not happen, and during this regime, it will happen, and we'll figure out a way to do that.
So how do you communicate with the union government that sometimes you accuse of not being receptive or not being reciprocative?
Well, we write. We write. We try to speak to them, reason out. If they listen, it's good enough. But there is politics aside, the nation benefits, the state benefits, people benefit. So if there's good practices from the state, the central government should take it up. If there are good practices in other states, we should adopt. And if there are best practices in central government, we should also adopt. Ultimately, all of us work for a common cause, that is for the people. So we are open. But unfortunately, sometimes I feel that there is some resistance from the central government with respect to deliberating and discussing issues of within the federal structure. Debates happen, but only on TV. Let them call us for a debate. State, not just me, all the states. If they're bringing up something, let there be deliberations. That's all I'm saying.
Moving to politics now, we saw Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge take over as the AICC president, and he's the first Dalit president of a major national party for a very, very long time. Now, did this help Karnataka in the elections?
I think more than him being a Dalit, it helped the Karnataka elections because he was a Bhumiputra here. He knows the social demography. He understands the caste equations, and he knows who is who and how much clout each one carries. He knows their political background. He knows their political journey. He knows what kind of social equations will work. So that also helped. Of course, with Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. D.K. Shivakumar hitting the streets big time, and the narratives being better, much better. I mean, we had a better campaign plan. We had feet on street. We were with the people when they needed us most. All of these things, backed by Mr. Kharge's efforts in quicker decision making, I think played a great role.
So will this same model be emulated in other states going to elections in 2024 as well?
The Congress president has already started his meetings with Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan. You know how things have been, was and is diffused now. So I think the party as a whole are working together. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Kharge, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka ji, everybody are on the same page, and that unity is helping the party in a big time. It's enthusing the cadres. So, and also that a fact that Mr. Kharge has risen from the ranks has motivated a lot of people. So it is it's been a great journey so far for him, and he intends to continue the winning streak.
So 2024, how do you see Karnataka? Which way do you see Karnataka going?
Karnataka is going to swing for Congress. There's no doubt about that. We have just won one seat. We are already rock bottom. The only way is up. You can't go lower than that, right? So the only way is up. And this time we are going to get anywhere between 18 to 22. Okay.
So just speaking about your personal equation with your father, and the kind of circumstances that your father came up in, your grandparents were subject to some communal violence. Is that part of the reason why you are so vocal about the communal sort of politics that the BJP practices, that you accuse them of practicing?
I think our entire family has been brought up in a way uh, where they understand social justice. They understand how it is to be from the bottom of the pyramid. And all of us have this strong Ambedkarite current in us. So I think it's got to do more with how Baba Saheb's influence is on father, and that is just trickled down to me as well. So, and quite rightly so, because where we come, even the region from where I come from is known for social justice. So, whether it is the principles of the philosopher Baswanna or Buddha and Baba Saheb Ambedkar, they're all from the same thought school. So we are heavily in that region. We are all heavily influenced by these principles. So when Baba Saheb Ambedkar Jayanti is done, it is also called Buddha Baswa Jayanti. Where in other regions it's not this thing. Where this is celebrated together because all of them championed social justice. All of them were in one way or the other. Their values is what is enshrined in the constitution. So I'm very vocal about it, especially when it comes to the constitution. So I think that's what the BJP don't like. They don't like the constitution, and we love the constitution. And they are for Manusmriti, we are for the constitution. So whether it's in the assembly or outside the assembly, we've been brought up to respect the constitution, and that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter whether I'm in power or not in power.
So, I mean, your personal equation also with your father as to, I mean, is there any interaction on, does he speak to you on how you know, anything about your public life, anything about the department?
He's never, he never interferes in my department, even in my previous tenure. No pieces of advice for elections. He says if you, he's always of the view that if you fall, you will learn. You'll pick yourself up and learn it yourself. The hand-holding or the springboard, which people think is there, is not there. But so our conversations are in monosyllables. So whatever he says is yes or no for me. So yeah. So but he's once in a while he does share his experience. If he thinks that I am crossing a line, definitely he has a word or two with me to just keep me grounded.
So this is also because, you say you speak so much against the Hindutva and the BJP, and you've also become, pretty much the biggest target right now in the government. I mean, if they can't get Mr. Siddaramaiah, then they go after you now.
No, I think the reason is because we are speaking the truth. We're speaking for the people. And if speaking the truth and if trying to safeguard the constitution makes me a target, so be it. Because ultimately, it is for the people. And where we are today, if Mr. Kharge is a Congress president and I am a minister, it's because of the people. So if they have voted us to power, they have voted against this ideology, right? They voted for progress. They voted for the philosophy of Baswanna, which is the philosophy which says that everybody should live equally, share equally, and be equal. So I don't see why I should not be a target. The BJP seems to be having a problem with me because I have a problem with their ideology. Their ideology does not have social inclusiveness. Their ideology does not have prosperity for all. Their ideology does not have equality. Have you ever heard any of their leaders say, let us take these youths and let's give them great skill sets that they'll be employed? Have you ever heard them speak progressively at all? They still talk about some ancient forgotten land, and they ensure that they put a kesari shawl on them and tell, Bhai, ja tu dharam rakshak ban. And that shawl is not for their children. It's only for the poor children, for the backward children, for the SC, STs it is there. Please take a list of all the BJP leaders, all the ministers, all the top BJP people in the country and see what their children are doing. They have become industrialists, they are doing great business, they are studying in foreign universities, they live in fancy apartments. What about how come their children don't wear the Kesari shawl and become Gaurakshaks? Why not? I mean, show me one central minister's son putting the shawl and becoming a Gaurakshak. How many people have adopted cows? How many people go to Goshalas? How many people drink Gaumutra? Nobody. But it is only for the others. I have a problem with that. Why can't, my problem is one set of rules for them and one set of rules for you. You might ask, Priyank, what is your children doing? I am making my children study well. I want them to do well. But also I am teaching them the values of Constitution. The difference between me and them is what I want my children to do, I want your children also to do the same thing. I don't have a different set of thoughts, processes, or a different set of rules for them. If I want my child to succeed, I want your child also to succeed. If that is what is the Constitution say, right? The problem is they don't believe in that, no? And you expect me not to be vocal about that.
No, because, there's one part where you think that the BJP has, advocated laws or passed laws that are regressive in nature, that you have told, which, maybe the anti-conversion or, the anti-cattle slaughter and other things. And now you're trying to review a lot of them. So, are you going to be stuck reviewing or undoing whatever they've done so far? And how do you find this balance?
I wouldn't say that we'll be stuck there. See, any policy or a government order that is regressive in nature, that does not allow you to progress economically or socially, should be done away with. Even if I have come up with a law that is regressive in nature, it should be undone. And we are not trying to politicize these things, whether it is the anti-conversion bill, the farm laws, or whether it is the anti-cow slaughter bill. None of this has anything to do with religion. Everything has to do with the social and economic impact. When the finance department of the then government has given it in writing as a cabinet note saying that don't bring the anti-cow slaughter bill, there's already some rules in place, there's a policy in place which protects the livestock and which protects the cattle. By bringing this regressive bill, the government stands to lose 3,000, 4,000 crores a year. In spite of not making economic sense or social sense, the BJP passed it. Why? To please their people in Nagpur, to please their masters in Delhi. So, are you going to allow the people of Karnataka to live in abject poverty so that your people are happy about that you are following some of their ideologies? Does that ideology make good social sense, economic sense? Has it been thought out? Our problem with those bills are because it is bad economic and social policies. Your farm laws, we withdrew that here. The PM Modi withdrew the farm laws. Why have they kept it in here, in Karnataka? APMCs, the Agriculture Produce Marketing Corporations, all of them have been shut. They're all because of this regressive bills. Farmers are not happy. They're not getting they're not able to discover the right price for their crops. Now, you tell me whether I should keep a bill that is affecting my farmers. So when the ecosystem doesn't want it, farmers don't want it, people don't want it, why should the government force it on them? It's nothing to do with politics, or it has nothing to do with BJP's ideologies. It is just bad social and economic sense. That's it.
You also came up with, you recently made a statement that you will come up with some sort of, a setup where you check fake news. Can you elaborate on this? Because there's a High Court hearing also on this. So will you wait for that? How is this going to be any different?
I mean, we don't need to wait for the court hearing to make a law that will help the society at large. And fake news are, according to me, the biggest threat to democracy and governments now. Just a tweet now is good enough for you to bring the society into chaos. A Facebook post is enough to ensure that there is communal violence anywhere. But what we have seen in the last 10 years happening is that these seeds of discontentment and communal disharmony is being sown from certain sources. And if we do not curtail them legally, I'm not saying you go beat them up or something. Legally, whoever is creating problems within the within the society, who are creating problems for the state's progress should be controlled. Otherwise, what is the point of having these narratives being flown around? You're going to brainwash people with false narratives. You want them to become religious zombies who don't contribute to the progress of the state or the society or the nation. So all these things need to be controlled. So fake news, I'm not saying whatever is the truth. You back it up with data, you back it up with facts, nobody is going to. But if you are going to you're going to post something with malicious intent, that should be taken care of. It should be nipped at the bud. Otherwise, it's going to go out of control, and before it's too late, we know that we have allowed the society to plunge into chaos.
Okay. We've had too many serious, conversations. Now, I just want to know, amid all this, madness, how do you unwind? What do you do to sort of?
Well, I try to hang out with my children now more often. I've not been last year or so has been quite hectic, as you know. The elections around the corner and the firefighting BJP RSS has taken most of my time. So I try to spend as much time with them to see. I'm trying to learn new things from them because there's a huge generation gap which I'm trying to fill. So trying to learn from them. Yeah, of course, music, unwind with a little bit of music. That's about it. Not much. Okay. I'm not a great guy to hang out with.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Kharge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.